Question from histology. This type of epithelium forms gland. Cuboidal. Inside of the esophagus, you would find this type of epithelium. Stratified squamous. Transitional epithelium could be found in this location. Bladder and ureters. Goblet cells are most often associated with this type of epithelium. Pseudostratified. Three functions that are associated with adipose tissue include insulation, energy, padding. Question from integument. These are the glands that are responsible body odor. Apocrine. Merocrine glands secrete this type of substance. Sweat, NaH2O, waste. This layer of the skin contains nerves and blood vessels. Dermis. Keratinized cells can be found within this layer of the integument. Epidermis. The majority of adipose tissue is stored in this layer of the skin. Hypodermis. Question from bones. Red blood cells are produced in this region of the skeletal system. Spongy bone. Osteocytes are connected to one another within bone through small canals called canaliculi. This functional unit of compact bone is called osteum. The most distal end of a long bone is referred to as the epiphysis. The lattice structures of spongy bone is called trabeculi. Question from the skull. The suture that connects the two parietal bone, sagittal. The spinal cord passes into the skull via this area. Foramen magnum. The suture that separates the occipital from parietal is the lambdoid. The functions of the styloid process is to connect to my hyoid. The largest unpaired skull bone would be frontal. These cells break questions from the cells. These cells break down bone osteoclast or osteoclasts. These functions in immunity within the integument. Langerhans. These are responsible for skin color. Melanocytes. This type of cells move through the tissue engulfing foreign substances. Phagocytes. These cells detect deep pressure within the skin. Pacinian corpuscles. Question from histology 2. This type of connective tissue forms tendons and ligaments. Dense regular. Answer is dense regular. This type of connective tissue is the least specialized but most abundant in the body. Areolar. This is dominates in the stomach and intestines. Columnar. This type of cartilage can be found between connecting vertebrae. Fibrocartilage. You would find hyaline cartilage in these 3 locations: ribs, and of long bones, joint capsules. Question from integument 2. 3 functions of sebaceous gland would be: moisturize skin, hair, waterproof, antibiotic. The tissue found in the papillary region would be areolar. 5 functions that the integumentary system provides would be: they protect abrasions, UV damage, waterproof, sensation, temperature regulation, vitamin D. A second-degree burn would have these characteristics and affect this layer of the skin: blister, peel, redness, swelling, epidermis to dermis. The tissue that makes up the dermis is dense, irregular. Question from School 2. The strongest bone in the face is the mandible. The occipital condyles function to attach to atlas. The external auditory meatus can be found on what skull bone? Temporal or forehead, I think. The ischiumous suture separates what bone? Temporal. The TMJ is formed from the articulation of what two bone parts? Mandibular condyle and mandibular fossa. Question from facial bone 2. Your cheekbone is called this and is connected to how many other bones? Zygomatic. 4 bones total. This is where the teeth are held within the skull. Alveolar process. The most superficial bone within the orbit would be lacrimal. 3 functions of the nasal conchae would be filter warm air, humidify air, and also olfactions. Which question from muscle 2? Which facial bone are not paired? Vomer and mandible. Question from spine and ribs. The most superior part of the sternum is called the manubrium. The ribs attach to which vertebral section? Thoracic. The cervical vertebra differ from the other 2 sections in these 4 major ways. Small body, bifid spinous process, large vertebral foramen, transverse process. These are many true ribs. The lowest part of the vertebral column is called the coccyx, spelled COCCYX.